Welcome to the Stress-Free Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Block. As always, I want to inspire, entertain, and educate you on the best tools and technologies out there. My goal is to help make your practice and career more profitable, efficient, and most importantly, more enjoyable. And check out all of my nonfiction and children's books on Amazon, and check out the stressfreedentist.com for any upcoming events. And if you're feeling you're a dental professional that's burnt out, or you just feel stuck or want to get to that next level, visit the International Academy of Dental Life Coaches, or www.iadlc.com, and we'll get you matched up with a life coach that understands dentistry. I also wanted to thank our amazing sponsor, Equa Marketing. They have helped me and my practice over the years to improve with SEO and website performance. And to find out how you can make your practice dominate in your area, go to www.equa.com/MSMSFD to book your complimentary meeting. Again, that's www.ekwa.com/MSMSFD. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. And today I am joined by Ren Menon, and he is the CEO of OrthoFX. How you doing today, Ren?
I'm good, Dr. Block. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right, let me just confirm. Okay, I pressed record. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had an amazing conversation with Ren last year that no one heard because I forgot to press record, and it was the podcast that never aired. So I finally got Ren back on for round two. So that was a good dry run we had the first time. But Ren is the CEO of OrthoFX, clear aligner company, and they're up to some amazing things. But first, Ren, how did you first get involved with dentistry? How did that even come about?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's just entirely happenstance. I do not have a background in dentistry. I'm guilty of being an engineer in my undergrad. I joined Invisalign. I was at that time living in Minneapolis, looking for a cause to align myself with, and also align myself with warm weather. I had 3 little chihuahuas at that time. They absolutely hated the Minnesota winters. So I was looking for a job in California. I had zeroed in on California as my dream destination, and dream within the dream was to be in Silicon Valley. And then through my connections, I reached Invisalign, found me, or I found Invisalign, and I joined Invisalign in 2003, 2004 as the director of R&D. Started in project and program management, and then I was there all the way till 2016. I did a bunch of things there. I was the head of North American marketing to the orthodontic channel from 2008 to 2012, and 2012 to 2016, I was a global head of product and innovation. So yeah, that's been my association with the world of dentistry. I only know one thing in dentistry, Dr. Block, which is orthodontics, and that too with clear aligners. So I'm one of those people who's like, in that specific area, I know quite a bit, really ignorant about a lot of other things.
So
Even within the
that's
industry.
been your
Yeah,
niche in dentistry.
it absolutely is.
And after Invisalign, what happened? Did you decide to start your own clear aligner company, and was that the genesis of OrthoFX?
Not linearly like that. I left Invisalign. My mind left Invisalign in 2014, as I tell people. Around that time, you go through life learning about yourself, self-discovery, who you are. And I discovered along the way of my journey in my 40s that I'm someone who is a builder. I enjoy building things from zero to nothing, and then caring for it till a certain maturity, and then I move on to the next thing. By that time, there was very little for me and my type of energy, my type of motivation for me to do it in Invisalign. And, I stayed for till 2014. And for a year after that, because I had monetary incentives. And then at some point, I had a thought. A friend of mine died young. And that made me really rethink about my relationship with money. And I walked away with the conclusion after a lot of thought that, hey, I'm solving for something that I really don't care about that much. So when the job became essentially a paycheck, I decided that it was time for me to go. And I left on really good terms with the company. I still love the company, love the product. I gave a very long notice period and made sure that the company was in good hands before I left because I wasn't going anywhere. I decided to go on a journey without a destination, hoping that the destination will reveal itself during the course of the journey. So I just decided to go on a journey. And for the first 6 months, I did almost nothing. For 1 month, I spent in Africa. I climbed Kilimanjaro. 1 month, I spent in New Zealand with my brother. Then I came back home. My wife and I were trying to have a child. We had been through 11 rounds of IVF. Different story, different day. But I came home and then I discovered that I cannot be just retired doing nothing. So I joined a venture capital fund as an EIR advisor. And then since I wanted to dissociate myself from dental, to be honest, I wanted to do something else. And I tried to get into oncology, that space, and discovered that it takes a lot of training, a lot of education, a lot of learning for me to be able to have any kind of impact there. So after trying that for about a year, a partner at the fund advised me to go back to the one thing that I knew really well, which is the world of orthodontics. And I had this nagging feeling, even while I was at my past employer, that, hey, there's so much more to be done here. The market is so untapped. 2 out of 3 people in the world have a malocclusion. And there's so many dimensions you can innovate on this just specific industry. So after thinking about it for a while, I talked to a few of the originals at Invisalign. I decided to get back into the game, and I founded OrthoFX in 2018, 2 years after I left my past employer.
And now tell me about the team, the founding team of OrthoFX.
Yeah, like I was saying, the founding team is indeed the founding team of the industry, Dr. Block. If you think about the world of aligners using a computer analog, there's hardware and software. The hardware is the polymer or the aligner itself that moves teeth. And then the software is the treatment plan, which is kind of like a playbook that shows here's how this teeth will move at this time. Here's how it is supposed to come together at the end, and here's how long it will take, and here are the steps. That's the software. So I was fortunate to be able to bring together two of the originals. Log Fan, who invented the aligner polymer EX30, was one of his inventions. He laid the groundwork for almost all the other polymers that are used in the industry today, including the leading brands. So Locke is my co-founder. Henry Chan pretty much built all the software platforms, just hands-on in this industry, starting with the Invisalign doctor site to their treatment planning software, to you name it, everything in between. So these two individuals have very deep experience and expertise in terms of what needs to happen from 0 to 1. And also in the 2020s, where technology had has come a long way and has evolved. So what can we do with this change underlying paradigm where consumerism is at the center, where there are things that are happening in smart polymers, things are happening on the AI side of the software. So I brought these two people together along with Nicole Garcia, my other co-founder, who was the worldwide head of Philips Oral Care. She was responsible for scaling Zoom whitening to 200 countries and ran Philips Oral Care. So definitely someone who understands scaling a business. So the four of us sat together in a little conference room in Fremont in 2018, and we worked on a 5-page PowerPoint slide deck. If you know me, you will know that I love PowerPoint slides. So I couldn't get away from creating a deck, especially for that occasion. So before we decided to work on something, we decided to lay the foundation in terms of what we want to stand for if we were to work together as a company. So it's the first thing that we did. So that was 2018, and fast forward 5 years, actually 6 years, man, time flies. 2024, here we are.
Time absolutely does fly. And tell me about, so you broke that up really nice about the founding team, the importance of the hardware, the software. Let's touch on the hardware first, the polymer. Why do polymers matter? And tell me about the types of polymers that OrthoFX uses.
Yeah, so nothing else matters more than the polymer, because at the end of the day, you can create anything on software. You can say, you can create these dream treatment plans. Ultimately, the mechanism that delivers the force is the polymer. So a doctor is only as good as the polymer that she or he uses. A patient is only as satisfied as what the polymer can deliver. So we knew foundationally at the core, the heart and soul of an aligner treatment is the polymer. We also felt that the industry was getting shortchanged because there have been no polymer innovations that has happened in many, many years since Invisalign came out with the original polymer and maybe a next generation polymer, which was better, but still had a number of problems in the form of these refinements where the treatment is supposed to look a certain way by a certain date, but it doesn't get there. And so you need to reboot the case, act like the case was starting all over again. When I say case, I mean a treatment. So refinements are a problem. And also there are a number of things that's broken where, one of the major things that's broken, at least let's say that we can control the polymer. One thing you absolutely cannot control is patient behavior. And there's a lot of evidence that shows that compliance in any medical category is a challenge, especially when it comes to aligners, because it's removable. So the strength in itself is a weakness. So our thought was, what can we do to design something from the ground up, formulate a polymer, and also create a unique manufacturing process if it is needed that can address these concerns. That way we can human-proof this problem. This way people can be people, and the polymer accounts for natural human behavior and then adapts to those behaviors as opposed to asking people to change the behaviors. Wear this thing for 22 hours, the treatment will not track. Refinements are the norm. No, none of that needs to be true. So we decided to reset those paradigms, and those are the things that our polymers do. We have, in the 6 years since our founding, we have launched 4 distinct polymers, all of which are based on a unique design, and all of which have a property called hyperelasticity, which means that we've successfully decoupled stress and strain, the first time in the history of aligner polymers, which means that these aligners have a long range of working. So when the aligner is designed to deliver a certain force, it can deliver that certain force for that duration, irrespective of the deviation. So we also have designed an aligner that stimulates biology of the teeth appropriately to make sure that teeth movements are efficient. The byproduct of that is that you now have an aligner system that you can wear for fewer hours, 9 to 12 hours, and get the same results in the same time. And this is the only FDA-cleared polymer with that indication. And we did not stop there. We also know that instant gratification is a big deal for consumers today. So we have a polymer that mimics the enamel of your teeth, but gives it a 5-shade lift immediately upon you wearing it. We call it Bright. Think of it like an Instagram filter in real life. And last but not the least, say your treatment goes off track, we have remote monitoring built into our platform. It's called FX On Track. We have this aligner that can correct up to 1 month of deviation from plan, which works in conjunction with our remote tracking software. This aligner can create 1 month of deviation from plan with just one aligner, and this can be done from a patient's home. So if a treatment is off track, the past way where you need to bring the patient in, rescan, redo the treatment plan, remake the aligners, reship it, all that's gone. We can fix all that remotely from a patient's home, which means that the practitioner can eliminate all those additional visits and treatments can indeed finish on time.
And just to clarify, when you say the word polymer, this is the material, the tray of material, correct?
You got it. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for that clarification. Yes, it is the tray material. That's what I mean by the polymer.
And there's the traditional, I guess you'd say traditional 22-hour treatment. That's called the Tetra, correct?
Correct. We have the traditional, it's called Tetra or Clear. We have the polymer that is cleared for fewer hours of use. That's brand name Nighttime, a wordplay on nickel titanium wire, the force properties of which are mimicked by this polymer. The bright polymer is the polymer with the built-in whitening effect, or that Instagram filter in real life effect. And then Rescue Aligners is the polymer that you use when you're in trouble. It'll get you out of trouble without getting you into the situation of bringing the patient back in and doing all that extra work that's unplanned.
And sticking with the hardware, the nighttime it's a game changer, correct? Nine
Yeah,
to 12
but
hours.
I would think so. Like the number one request that we would get um, from patients and doctors alike, in terms of when I ran innovation studies, the number one request was love the shift from braces to aligners. Now I can remove it, but still, this is definitely an upgrade to that baseline, but it's not a huge upgrade. You still have to be married to this device for like the whole day for many months. Can you ideally give me like something that I don't have to wear at all, like take a pill? Now we are working on that technology. It's not ready just yet, but in the meantime, the thought was, can I wear something part-time? And the whole idea is based on patient compliance and convenience, while making sure that treatment efficacy is not compromised. So part-time wear is going to be the future, Dr. Block. Nobody wants to wear the aligner 22 hours, and we're going to lead that charge in the industry. So it is the big next step that has to happen in the world of orthodontics, aligner therapy, and that's what we're pioneering.
Now, with the nighttime, 9 to 12 hours, does the treatment go longer typically, time-wise, months-wise?
No, no, not at all. You can basically you can as a doctor you can test it yourself. We create a treatment plan, and you can switch polymers at the last step. So if it was an attempt where we are slowing down the velocities like some of the others have done, we won't be able to do that. So the treatment plan is a treatment plan. Moments are the moments. Velocity is the velocity. The duration of the treatment is the duration, irrespective of the polymer. So no change in treatment duration.
Does the patient feel more force? Is it a lot tighter, more pain or ache due to the 9 to 12 versus the traditional?
No, those are all in some ways misconceptions on how the force mechanism works. This is all about stimulating the cellular biology in a physiologically friendly manner. We've designed the aligner polymer and the forces in such a manner that the teeth movement is more efficient. We create what is called frontal resorption as opposed to undermining resorption, which means that the off time when you take the aligner off, your bone is repairing itself from the movement that is caused, which means that the teeth movement overall is more efficient versus what is happening with excessive force that happens with the other aligners, which is, you can feel it when you wear another brand aligner. The force is just too high up front because they know all that force is going to dissipate in the next few hours, in the next 72 hours. So they have to really dial up the force, which we don't. And because of that, what happens is, think of your blood vessels. Think of someone choking your throat. You'll have trouble breathing. It's very similar. When that much force is applied to your blood vessels, the blood vessels are really struggling to quote unquote breathe. We allow the natural flow of blood and the natural formation of these bone modifying tissues, which is why we are able to achieve the same movement, the same duration without causing pain or discomfort.
Yeah,
In
I
fact, our
have
aligners people, have so many testimonial videos. Be happy to share where people say that it feels almost like not wearing an aligner at all.
yeah, I've had so many cases that, they didn't move forward with treatment previously because they didn't want to wear the aligners all day. And then once we
Yeah.
introduced the nighttime, patients that we had treatment plan, a year or two ago, we rescanned them and they wanted to move forward. So it has been, a game changer. Funny question. So there's a movie called Something About Mary, which was a
Love the
great
movie.
movie. And if you haven't seen it, it's a
I
classic.
have.
But
Huge fan. Huge fan. I've probably seen it 15 times.
so there's a scene where there was a big thing back in the 90s called 8 Minute Abs. And there's these two guys in the car, And one of them says, I have a great business idea. Instead of 8-minute abs, I'm going to do 7-minute abs. And then Ben Stiller says, that's great, but why not do 6-minute abs? And the original guy says, that's crazy. No one's going to do 6-minute abs. So, for your competitors out there, why not 8 hours? Why not 7 hours? What's the difference there?
I think what we did not automatically pick 8 hours or 9 hours or 12 hours without thought. We ran a number of control studies. Our goal was to get to zero, which we knew was impossible. But we knew that, someone once they're home, there's a certain window where they have the opportunity to wear an aligner and not worry about, say, things like lisping or things like that. So we tried a number of combinations from all the way starting with 6 hours to 15. And we landed on the wear time based on a number of clinical trials and the optimal behavior that we observed. So that's why we position where the number that we have. Fewer hours, if somebody is able to figure it out and somebody is able to create the same efficacy, more power to them. Bring it down. I'm all for making it more convenient for the patients and making it more efficient and even more revenue generating for the doctors. So huge supporter of whatever we can do on that front, irrespective of who is doing it.
Same goes for the pill. If you can develop the pill, stage one, stage two, just take another pill, rescue pill,
There you
then
go.
all for it. You mentioned compliance. I had a patient ask me, it was a clever question. He said, why don't they send a different tray, every day? Why change every week if I want to get, great results and I'm really compliant, why don't you send me one every day? And I said, when you start to do that, the compliance of a human being, goes down. When you prescribe an antibiotic 4 times a day, chances are patients aren't going to actually do it 4 times a day. If you prescribe a Z pack and it's 1 times a day, there's a higher chance they're going to do it. Um, is
That's a
that
great insight, Dr. Block. I did not, I wasn't thinking about it on those lines. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And then he also asked, how did they get to 9 hours? Because I give patients the brochures, I send them to the website, and I just looked at it and I said, science. It's
Yeah.
all in the science. I didn't
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah. How
um,
do cars drive by themselves? It's called science.
yeah, science. So now let's get to the software and how you kind of separate yourself. You have an all-in-one platform, you have FX Pay, you have a collaboration
Hmm.
platform.
Yep.
Can you jump into those?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a great segue into one ignored aspect of dentistry, which was dentistry, the business of dentistry, and how software can help the business aspect of dentistry as a whole. So when people talk about orthodontic software, they just limit their thinking to the treatment planning software. And that is where the thought begins. And sadly, that's where the thought ends. It's extremely, extremely important. It is the brain to the body, if you may. That's basically what decides, the game plan for the treatment. Like I was saying, we have the good fortune of building OrthoFX in the 2020s, where AI is very much accepted technology infrastructure that we can build on. So we have been able to build our treatment planning software based on intelligence that we gather from observing patterns of the user. So it provides guidance to the user in terms of what they need to do and what their preferred patterns are, and they're deviating. We can provide them with guidance on that. We can also provide them with what we have seen are treatment patterns that have high degree of finishing without any concern. So these templates that we have implemented on our platform is also hugely useful because they can finish a case like a champion plan and finish a case by borrowing years of experience that they may not have hands-on. But the software is providing that because they have analyzed all these treatment plans. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is the monitoring of it, because treatments happen at patients' homes. So we built in the remote monitoring for treatments into the treatment planning software itself. This way, any negative events can be avoided proactively. and we can manage all that from a single platform. And then once we thought about the treatment software, which is treatment planning and remote monitoring, and also the remote monitoring software integrates with rescue aligners, which makes it a closed loop solution. In other words, we're not saying that, hey, you have a problem. We're also saying you have a problem and here's a solution. All you have to say is click accept, and we send those aligners to the patient's home based on your approval. We then decided to also make sure that we built solutions for the business needs of a dentist. That way, dentists can be dentists. Your podcast is called the Stress-Free Dentist Podcast. I'm sure a lot of that stress is caused by non-clinical things that you have to do, like financing a patient, filing insurance claims. We were talking about it just earlier, and a bunch of other things that innately you don't enjoy. And B, many of you do not go to school to get trained for being a small business owner. And these are all things where software can really help. There are a lot of innovations happening in that space. So we decided to build the business side of the software platform also to let dentists be dentists. That way they can be focusing on just one thing, which is providing awesome patient care, and leave the rest to us. FX Pay, like you pointed out, is one example. We built a fintech platform from the ground up. That way we can finance all the treatments at the lowest fee to the doctor. Our fees in almost all cases is lower than any other platform that you can find, and also at very low APR rates to the patient. And we approve 100% of the patients because we feel that nobody should get left behind because they don't have the wherewithal to afford the treatment. Nobody's walking around, as you know, most people are not walking around with $3,000 to $7,000 in their pocket to afford their treatment. So that's one of the platforms that we built to support the business aspect of dentistry. We also built a platform called Collaboration to Uberize the screening and the treatment of this category. The FX Collaboration, as the name indicates, allows GPs and orthodontists to collaborate on orthodontic cases, and with some treatments referred to the orthodontist and some done in a GP office, but under the guidance of an orthodontist, with us managing all the financial aspects of that transaction. In other words, both partners in an exchange make money, and we manage all the accounting, we manage the financing, all of that. All you have to do is, again, go back to doing the thing you enjoy the most, which is providing dental medical care to patients. The rest, we can help you with it.
Yeah, it's the FX Pay is great because, not only do I not want to deal with the finances, but our staff doesn't as well. And these
Yeah.
are, this is a high value treatment. And, so it's nice to have a third party like FX Pay, do it for you.
Right.
Kind of takes us, out of the financial questions and get the patient and OrthoFX together to hammer out the finances. Um,
Right.
Ren, I want to end up on two final questions. Number one is, how do we find out more? And you can, tell us your website, email, phone number, whatever you want to leave. And then number two is, what advice would you give to the young dentists out there, or even just the young entrepreneurs?
So first question, in terms of how do you find OrthoFX? It's on the web, www.orthofx.com. And if you go there, if you're a doctor, there's a link up on top called For Doctors. And if you'd like to contact through the website, you can scroll. There's a lead form there. Please enter your information, and somebody will be in touch with you within a few hours. If you would like to reach me personally, you can email me. My email is Ren, R-E-N, my first name, at orthofx.com. I'll make sure that I respond within 24 hours. So that's the best way to reach me. Now, for the second question, I think there are two thoughts that I have. What I think the young dentists and young entrepreneurs can look for. My first recommendation is to look for unmet needs. It could come in many different ways. You could look for gaps or inefficiencies in the industry. and develop innovative solutions. I can think of a ton of inefficiency when I think of this industry. There's so much going on that there are probably about 15 startups that should be built, if not more, to solve some of these. Or, it doesn't have to be a startup, but it needs to be someone with a problem-solving mindset, willing to challenge the existing paradigms in the industry. It could be streamlining practice management. It could be improving the patient experience, improving treatment outcomes. Just focus on creating real value by solving problems faced by the dental professionals and patients. So that's my first advice. My second advice, and this has really, really helped me in my career all throughout, really focus on building a strong network. Surround yourself with mentors, advisors, and industry experts. They can provide you with guidance, support, and valuable insights as you go through this journey, whether it's building a practice on your own or building a business or a company. Networking within the community is great for collaborations and partnerships, but also look for inspiration outside. One of the things that I have tried to do is in my innovator profile is what they call a cross-pollinator. I look for inspiration elsewhere and see how I can apply that to my industry. And I think that you will find a lot of times inspirations are outside the industry than within. So,
Ren, that's great stuff. I wanted to thank you so much for joining us. So many great insights, and also being just a great guy. You are probably one of the nicest guys in the industry. You surprised me one time and actually showed up in my office. You have a great team, great product. So I want to thank you for that. And thanks for joining and such a great episode. Thanks again for listening to the Stress Free Dentist podcast. And don't hesitate to get in touch with me at info@thestressfreedentist.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Until the next episode, I'm Dr. Eric Block, the Stress Free Dentist.